What is going on, everybody? ZyoniK here. In today's video, we're going to be running, it's a meta week, right? We're coming towards the end of the season, and I really wanted to run a lot of these meta teams out there that you guys can try to give your final pushes. And today, I finally hit Expert. It has been a long grind. There's a lot of great battlers out there this season, but I was able to get to Expert today with this team, Medicham, Shadow Alolan Sandslash, and Galarian Stunfisk. Shadow Alolan Sandslash got access to Drill Run. It is extremely meta. It is up there with Registeel and Galarian Stunfisk for the tanks because of its moveset and the damage output. So let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this team, and let's go and get right into it. Alright, getting into the first battle here. We have Medicham on the lead versus Noctowl. Tough matchup, but we do have double tanks in the back, so we're going to go ahead and go into the Galarian Stunfisk here. And I say this all the time. Read what your opponent does and does not do. I'm going to hammer this into you guys so you guys can start to understand how you can read opponents' teams. Since they are not swapping out, they are likely core broken in some way, whether that is the ground typing, which it is, the Alolan Sandslash now coming in, or it is another flyer. They're doing like an ABA flyer line, right? So we're going to go ahead and go for the Rock Slide here. We do get a shield there against the Shadow Alolan Sandslash, and they're going to go ahead and go for Drill Run. This is fine with me because I can come in and get a very healthy farm down with Medicham and also safely shield the charge move here from Alolan Sandslash because the Drill Run or Ice Punch would still do a lot of damage, and it's better to maintain this high health here and have an Ice Punch ready to go for the Noctowl that is likely going to be coming back in. So now we're about to find out if they were core broken and why. Reason being is we have another Steel in the back, so let's see what it's going to be. We're going to go ahead and go for the Ice Punch. They no shield. I swap into Sandslash, and it's a Registeel in the back. This is very telling that, yes, they were actually core broken, right? If you have a Noctowl lead and a Galarian Stunfisk swaps in, and all you have to answer for it is a Registeel and a Shadow Alolan Sandslash, you can't come in right away, which is why this read really worked. Now, when it comes to this matchup here against the Registeel, we can safely go for the back-to-back drill runs here. This is going to be extremely close, but I think we're still going to be able to pull it off. Granted, I was kind of surprised they went for Zap Cannon, because I think they would have gotten the double Focus Blast if they went for Focus Blast instead of Zap Cannon. So it might have been a misplay on their end, but I would have come in with Medicham anyways and farm down and get an Ice Punch off against Noctowl. It was a win-win either way. So good game right there, but ultimately, again, team reading. What are they doing? All right, we got Medicham now versus Buzzwole. So very positive lead, and I also love the swag that my opponent has right there. Full commitment to Team Buzzwole. I absolutely love this right here, but in this matchup, we have a good advantage because we have access to Psychic and they have Lunge. So it's still kind of a tough matchup. They decide to swap out into Lantern, so I'm going to go ahead and bring in the Galarian Stunfisk right away. This is a good position for us. Reason being, we can nearly one-shot with Earthquake. Yes, we take super effective damage from Surf, but the Earthquake is massive, and if they let it go through, then we farm down. Now, on the back end, when we face off against Buzzwole, we do have the Rock Slide for neutral damage, I should say, against Buzzwole because of the Fighting Bug typing, which is actually very, very nice. And also, we are extremely low, so they only get 2 counters worth of energy. We are able to survive right there and get this Rock Slide off, which is going to be some very needed chip damage. Now, Medicham has an Ice Punch ready to go because I stored all of that energy, and this Ice Punch now is going to be threatening the shield here from Buzzwole. So we are in the 2-to-1 shield advantage. I'm going to go ahead and go for an Ice Punch. I will shield this Lunge. Having this CMP tie and this Ice Punch damage is going to be worth it because I either get the final shield, which tells me they are weak to Medicham in the back, or if they let it go through, I can save my Medicham, but their final Pokemon is actually going to be a Toxapex. So the Shadow Alolan Sandslash will take this one, and they're going to go ahead and surrender. That is going to be a good game, very well played. Alright, moving to the next one, we got Medicham versus Shadow Swampert here. So team reading, they got to have a Noctowl. Now, they swap in a Frostlass, so we're going to go ahead and bring in the Sandslash right here because of the Shadow Claw damage, but I make a mistake going for CMP tie. I should have overfarmed. I'm going to commit one shield no matter what, but I made the mistake of thinking I could get to that Drill Run just before they get the Shadow Ball off to try to force a shield from them. So to counteract that, I'm going to undercharge the charge move there, meaning it does less damage, which allows me now to farm down so I have energy on the back end. Now I can threaten this Shadow Swampert because Ice Punch is going to do so much. This is Shadow on Shadow, Glass Cannon on Glass Cannon. So this is going to do quite a bit of damage, as you guys can see, like 50-60% right there. And with Shadow Claws, we are looking very, very good. Now, we maintained switch advantage here. They had a Froslass safe swap, and I'm still guessing a Flyer in the back, so I'm going to come in with Medicham. Sure enough, it's going to be a Noctowl back there, which makes a lot of sense. If you ever see someone with a Swampert, they have to have an answer for grass, and the best way to counter grass is going to be the flyers, right? So Skarmory, Talonflame, Altaria, Noctowl, you name it, it's going to be a flyer, and you can probably guess based on probability that is going to be one of the big three right now, which is Altaria, Charizard, and Noctowl. Those are kind of the big three flyers in the meta. In this case, it's going to be the Noctowl. So this is still going to be a good game. It's going to come very, very close here because the Swampert does have energy, but it doesn't have enough energy for 2 Hydro Cannons, I don't think. I believe it is 3 Mud Shots away. I could be wrong, but I'm going to go ahead and swap now into Medicham. Save the Galarian Stunfisk because I would have just gotten farmed down anyways. This Ice Punch now is barely not going to be enough damage. Unfortunately, I will have to give up a shield here. And now it is going to be the Swampert that does come in. So they have to get 3 Mud Shots, I believe. So we counter down anyways. And that is going to be a good game. Very well played. Alright, moving into the next one. We have Medicham on the lead versus Venusaur. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and swap into Galarian Stunfisk because Venusaurs pair so well with Steels. Galarian Stunfisk and Bastiodon. And notice what they are not doing. They are not swapping out. Yes, they could still get a Frenzy Plant here. But my guess is that they have a Bastiodon and a Galarian Stunfisk in the back. So I'm just going to go ahead and be free to go for Earthquakes. And we land it! Beautiful! And we are able to farm down. What decides to come in? Galarian Stunfisk. This is a huge read for me right here. That they are probably double weak in the back, which means Medicham is just going to take this game. We land the next Earthquake, but they swap into Pelipper. Very interesting call. I'm going to go ahead and come in with Sandslash here, and this is going to be a good game. Shadow Claw and Ice Punch is going to take this for me. Weather Ball does not one-shot. Their Galarian Stunfisk is 1 counter away, and I still have a full health Medicham, so we are looking very, very good. But again, it just happened to be that my Galarian Stunfisk did so well against their backline, Rock Slide to Pelipper, Earthquake to Galarian Stunfisk, that you don't want to come into that matchup behind on energy. So they are forced to stay in with Venusaur, and they are forced to gamble that I would go for a Rock Slide instead of an Earthquake. But I love to boom, so I always send it. So we're just going to go ahead and just keep going for Ice Punches here. This is going to be a good game as they do get to the Weather Ball in time, but the Alolan Sandslash can survive since this was basically a fresh fight. And now we can go for Ice Punch, and then that is going to wrap it up because Galarian Stunfisk is basically 1 or 2 counters away, and I have my Medicham, so I'm going to go ahead and swap in. Maybe 3 counters away right there, maybe 4. It's a bit more health than I remembered, but yeah, it was close, right? Counter down. Good game, right? We got Medicham now versus Drapion. Okay, so this is a very interesting lead. And when you have leads that are just kind of like neutral, you need to consider what they could be trying to build here. And with a Drapion lead, my gut is telling me there might be another poison back there. For some, like, it's just telling me that they might try to play an ABA line. So I'm going to go ahead and swap into Galarian Stunfisk to see what they do. I'm going to go ahead and see, and if there is something back there that beats Galarian Stunfisk, I draw it out, which I do. It's going to be the Medicham. So now Alolan Sandslash is very, very safe, right? It does well against the Drapion, especially with shield advantage, and it might do well against whatever's in the back. And if this is in fact an ABA line, now we CMP tie here, so this is worth going up a shield or going down a shield. So I'm in the 1 shield right now because this Earthquake now will force the 2nd shield for my opponent, or I get the Medicham out of the game, and we do get shield number 2, so that was worth it in my book. I can come in with Medicham right here. I am hard reading a pseudo double poison. I'm thinking maybe Toxapex or Nidoqueen. So I'm going to go ahead and swap into Sandslash right away and hard Shadow Claw farm down. This is the riskiest play ever. But this was a team read. And it is a Toxapex in the back. They swap in the Drapion to try to catch the charge move. I go for the Ice Punch here. And this is why. This was such a unique lead that I'm like, they have to be playing an ABA Poison, because that's such... Drapion is a safe swap because it does well against its counters with energy advantage. It's weird to lead it unless you have a double Poison, and because of our Steel typing here, we're able to resist the Poison jabs, and Shadow Alolan Sandslash goes for the beautiful sweep right there, farming down a Medicham, Ice Punching the Drapion, and double Drill Run. That is going to be a good game. Extremely risky on my end, but it paid off. All right, we got Defense Form Deoxys here on the lead. So this is, again, I think there's an Umbreon in the back. It pairs very well, and the third Pokemon could be a lot of different things. I don't want to automatically assume that it's Dugong, but it could be Dugong, as it's been a very popular team that I made a video on, and in order to win this, I have to try to catch the Thunderbolt, which I do right here. Yonkis as well hit Legend with the Dugong team, which is why I'm saying it might be that. Now, they're going to go ahead and stay in and keep loading up on energy, and I'm anticipating them swapping, so I go ahead and see that the Umbreon does come in, and I go for the Earthquake. So we already got 2 out of the 3, and now that Defense Form Deoxys has a lot of energy, but it is low. Now, what's great about the Alolan Sandslash is against the Dugong matchup, even though Dugong does have Drill Run, the Shadow Claw and Drill Run damage from us is so deadly. So the Umbreon here is looking to store up as much energy as possible. I'm not going to be giving up any shields because I think Alolan Sandslash is my win con here, and they do get to another foul play in time, and I'm staring at the health because I think I might just be able to survive, but I don't. I do go down. So we bring in the Medicham right away. We're going to go ahead and fully counter it down. We have lots of energy now for Defense Form Deoxys. We also win CMP tie when it comes back in. So we're just going to throw that Ice Punch once we see that Psychic typing. And this is now a beautiful situation for us because the Alolan Sandslash can do so well against the Dugong that this Defense Form Deoxys has to throw energy now. I'm going to go ahead and shield. It was the Thunderbolt. And now we get to another Ice Punch in time. So this is now going to be forcing another shield from my opponent. So let's see what they decide to do. They do decide to shield. That is, or they have 1 shield left. And now we CMP tie, which is beautiful because if this gets the final shield, I think it is game over. And it does get the final shield. So I'm going to go ahead and let this charge move go through no matter what it is. And we're going to bring in that Alolan Sandslash. It is going to be a Thunderbolt, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out. Shadow Claw down. They throw right away. This is Psycho Boost then. And it is going to be resisted, and the final Pokemon is, in fact, Dugong. So Shadow Alolan Sandslash is going to put in some work right here. You guys are going to see we heavily resist those Ice Shards, and we only have to fear the Drill Run here from Dugong, and they have to throw... I mean, there's no win con for them right now, unfortunately, because I can safely block the Drill Run there and go for my own, and that is going to be a good game, very well played. But again, if you're facing off against the Defense Form Deoxys Umbreon Dugong team, excuse me, you have to try to catch the Thunderbolt. That's a huge play. Good game to my opponent right there. Let's go ahead and move into the next one. We have Medicham on the lead versus Noctowl once again. So we need to read what they do as we go into Galarian Stunfisk right away, and they are going to go ahead and swap out right away. Okay, so they do have an answer in the back. It is going to be Medicham. Now, what they have as their second Pokemon could be anyone's guess, but at least the counter user, the fighter on the team, is on the field, so Alolan Sandslash might have a better time. It could be double fighter in the back, right? There could be a Toxicroak back there. There could be a Shadow Machamp. Right? There could be an Obstagoon, a pseudo fighter. But ultimately, this is our best bet. So we're going to go ahead and look to shield here as I can take this into the 1s. Yes, they will get energy on the back end of this, but getting the 1 shields for an Alolan Sandslash in the endgame is a lot better than the 2 shields because of how glassy it is if I take neutral damage. So let's see what we can do here. We're going to go ahead and come in with the Medicham and load up on energy. Psychic is gonna hurt if they decide to throw it, but I'm okay with tanking this energy because I want to have this shield for Alolan Sandslash. I will commit to the farm down as well, just risk it for that biscuit right there. I have almost double Ice Punches as we do see the Noctowl come in, and then I'm gonna need to swap out into the Alolan Sandslash here to get ahead on energy. So I noticed that I didn't have back-to-back, and it's actually a lantern in the back. So the meta team from the last, like, 9 months, Noctowl, Lantern, and Medicham. And this is why taking this into the 1 shield is so good for us, because the 2 shield would have still been okay, but the Surf shield bits would have definitely been devastating. But now I have to commit to the full farm down. The reason being is Thunderbolt is about to hit me, and that is okay because now I can survive and get double Ice Punches. Switch Clock is coming back up as well, so I'm going to go ahead and go for double Ice Punch here, as it does an incredible amount of damage. And remember, my Medicham does have that Ice Punch, so we're going to go ahead and throw the back-to-back. This is an incredible amount of damage for us. And then they do decide to CMP tie there and throw, which is perfectly fine, as I can come in with Medicham and go for Ice Punch. Unfortunately, I didn't have the back-to-back right there. That would have been better when I swapped out. So I should have done one more counter and then swapped out so I can win the CMP tie. But good game nonetheless. All right, and that was, I just took a showcase there. This team, so strong. Medicham, Alolan Sandslash, and Galarian Stunfisk. Very, very strong, and I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. So like always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.